What is your favorite anime?
Mine's Skrillex.
Skrillex.
I'm so distanced from human sensibilities and stuff.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
You can put your tray tables up in your seat in the full upright position because this is the Flight Plan, the official podcast of Big Guy For You Scanlations, Japan's #1 Bane posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Naden, as we bants about all the anime, all the manga, and all that scanlation content. What are we talking about today, Tom?
You know, I just realized that I don't know what this topic is called. I want to call it becoming a Chad through anime. But basically the idea is like how we have been inspired to do different things in our lives because of anime and manga.
You can put your tray tables up in your seat in the full upright position because this is the #1 Chad podcast, the Chadcast, Japan's #1 Chad casting manga scanlation podcast.
You nailed it. Join the Chads, Tom and Aiden.
That's good. See, I should have done that.
So yeah, but as is tradition, let's do top of the show stuff. I don't really have any appropriate top of the show content, so let's do whatever you have.
Excellent. That's a beautiful segue. Thank you for ceding me the podium. I'm just going to walk up to the podium and give a thing.
Actually, it's called a lectern. You know, I think the podium is like the part that you step on, but the lectern is like the actual thing that you like stand behind. It's just some fun knowledge trivia there. Next time you're on Jeopardy.
Really noggins you're chalking. Well, here at Big Guy For You Scanlations, we're all about the passengers that are on our flight with us. Sometimes when you ring that flight attendant call button, you know, somebody's supposed to come out and give you your beverages and your snacks and your peanuts and things like that. And I think Delta Airlines has those Biscoff cookies, which are always the best. You got to get those and you got to dunk them in the coffee. Last week, our flight attendants dropped the ball and I didn't reply to anybody on any of the comments on YouTube. We did do the live stream, so we got to chat with the people there, but...
Well, like, not every comment warrants a response, though, so it's...
No, but there were definitely some...
I mean, were any of them, like, questions where it's like, hey, I need to know this answer quickly?
No, none of them were questions, but there were opportune things to talk to, and I always like to do that. And another thing, we did put out the last episode late by several days. Unacceptable, I know, but it was very busy. We had some real-life flight schooling to go to, or something.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, I'm like 10 weeks late on my next chapter of everything, and everything is up in flames. I'm dead.
It's that meme where it's like, oh yeah, this is fine. Everything is fine. While everything is not fine, everything's on fire.
Except half of it's laziness, you know, I will admit that. The other half is there's, you know, stuff that needs attending to. The good news is, though, I have finally freed myself from something that had been wasting a lot of my time recently.
You quit your job.
Dragon Quest 11. I wish, dude. I wish every single day. Every hour on the hour, I think, you know, I could quit right now. No, but I finally platinum Dragon Quest 11, so I'm done with it.
Excellent. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You're like the son I never had.
Yep, that's true. And everyone is the son you've never had. Every son is the son you've never had.
You should get the new Cowboy game and let me play it.
Oh, Red Dead Redemption. Well, if I got it, how would you play it?
I'll come over and visit.
Okay. That's a long trip just to play a cowboy.
I'm waiting for it to come out on PC like the first one.
Oh, it's not out yet? Oh, well, whatever.
Well, the first one's not out on PC. Like, that was, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not in the video game sphere, so I don't get the jokes.
Well, speaking of jokes, we've got just ultra exciting content for you today. Did you have any more pre-show?
Sure. You know, this doesn't belong anywhere, but I want to tell somebody this.
And why not tell all of our friends online?
Yeah, so this gets filed under the Tom tries to learn how to become a normal human being and talk to people at work.
And fails.
File this under that category. Oh, maybe not fail, but so we got whiteboards like personal whiteboards at our desks, cubicles, really. This happened last week, and I don't know what to do with it. Nobody has any idea what to do with theirs. Like one guy wrote what I assume is Zelda's Lullaby. He has like the C buttons on like a music staff. It's some Zelda song, probably Zelda's Lullaby, and like, you know, people do like stupid stuff like that.
Bazinga.
And so I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. You know, I don't even know how to draw, nor would I know what to draw. I can't use it for work, so I have to use it for, you know, artistic expression. And he's like, well, why don't you use it to practice your Japanese calligraphy? And I was like, what?
oh, that's spooky.
I was like,
he knows.
Like, what? No, he doesn't. No.
You're like, now I have to kill you.
So I did kill him, and now I'm on the run, and
we're doing this live from the getaway car.
No, but see, here's what I think it is. And then he said, or Chinese. And then I was like, okay. Because our inter-work chat messaging instant messenger app, I have mine set to Chinese because I thought it looked cool. So that's probably what it was. So it's a false alarm, but I was really sweating it for a couple seconds there.
You have it set to Chinese because it looks cool, but you don't speak Chinese. Why didn't you have it set to Japanese? Does Japanese not look cool?
Well, because then if somebody were to ask me about that, and
they're going to ask you about the Chinese.
Yeah, and then they say, do you know Chinese? I say, no, it just looks cool.
Okay, you can be
like... But if it was in Japanese, and they said, do you know Japanese? I wouldn't be able to answer.
No, you just be like, I think it looks cool. You don't even have to, you can lie by omission. You don't have to say it.
Yeah, but the Chinese looks cooler anyway, so. That's
true. I do think Chinese looks cooler than Japanese.
And of course traditional, because simplified Chinese is for simple minds, and I am a galaxy brain.
Well, I'm going to have to fight back against that.
All right, well, so that's all the pre-show stuff. So I do have a pseudo pre-show thing that will transition us smoothly into the main topic. So I think it's time.
Oh, look at this. This is professional.
This is professionalism, especially when you announce it. So this is kind of like an anime update thing. I mean, we're so deep into the season that it doesn't make sense for me to do anime updates, but here's one anyway. Yeah, it's a show I just started watching, and I actually watched every episode. I'm caught up now. It's
Boku no Pico.
Like the localized name is Run with the Wind. It's all about like a relay race team. It's like 10 college dudes who live in like a dorm, and then they all got like drafted into the relay team. And
you're really on a sports kick this season.
How? What do you mean?
Wasn't the last one you were watching something with a bunch of gay tennis yaoi dudes?
Oh, it was archery, and I've only seen episode 1, but
well, still, that's still more than all of the sports animes that I've seen combined.
Oh yeah, I've seen quite a few, and we'll get into that later. But this one's kind of cool. I mean, it's just like 10 random college dudes. Some of them are kind of stupid, some are okay, and they're trying to go basically, you know, like that meme or whatever, where it's like it's couch to 10K, I think.
Oh yeah, in like 60 days.
Yeah, they're trying to do that, but they're going from like couch to super big, important relay marathon race that they do in Japan on New Year's, I guess.
The Olympics.
Basically, yeah.
The Boston Marathon.
Yep, they're doing it.
I hear that's the bomb.
Yeah. I can't think of anything. I was trying to rack my brain to come up with some kind of goof, but I couldn't. You beat me to it. Anyway, it's okay. It seems really slow to develop. Like they're still Scrub League, and it's episode 6 out of, I assume, 12. So I don't think they're going to make it. I don't know, but the point of me saying this, like the whole reason behind including it, is because it vindicates me. If you remember for the manga translation battle, remember Egg Star was that manga that I submitted my entry for?
Oh yeah,
and it was based on The Little Prince. And the guy he's given a name on like the final page of like chapter 2, where he gets taken in by somebody whose name is Hoshino. And so she names him Oji Hoshino, or Hoshino Oji, whatever, like however their names work.
The OG, yeah.
Yeah, but Oji is Prince. So it's like I was really conflicted. Do I name him Oji or do I name him Prince in my translation? I ended up going with Prince. I thought it was a bold move, but it makes...
I think that's right. I think you did well there.
I think so too. The unfortunate part is you miss out on the pun, because Hoshino, it wasn't spelled this way, but like when his name is written out like Hoshino Oji, it means like Prince of the Stars. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's really cool, but there's nothing really you could do with that in terms of like translation. But in this one, in Run with the Wind, there's a guy who they call OG, but the subs call him Prince. So I was like, all right, I'm in. I know I'm gonna win that competition now.
Nice. The Japs are gonna love it.
Yeah, and that's the me corner here. But back to whatever the actual topic is. The thing about this one, and I guess you haven't watched any sports manga, but the thing about this and sports manga is that it makes me want to do whatever the sport is. I guess you have deprived yourself of this experience by never having read a sports manga.
I have done something similar. Do you count playing guitar as a sports manga? Because I did watch 2 seasons of K-On! And that did inspire me to want to practice guitar. In fact, I had no interest in watching the show, but I had picked up a guitar because I wanted to, be the dude on the quad that could serenade all the waifus. But that never worked out.
Yeah, you should have gotten a hacky sack instead. That's the real quad secret technique right there.
You know what's really popular with the hacky sack hipsters now is the ukuleles. It's like a tiny guitar. And
oh, yeah, I could see that.
yeah, it's like it was really big for a time, probably like 2017. I saw them everywhere on Instagram. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm so quirky. I'm not like your average girl.
But yeah, so like watching this show makes me want to run. And I guess it's a whole story there.
That's basically what spurred in this episode. But yeah, I mean, so this episode is talking about things that have kind of rubbed off on us from anime and manga, like different things that you've either been inspired from or just different habits that you've picked up. See, for me, whenever one of my friends is acting like an idiot or just does something dumb, I'll usually stare at them right in the face and let out a really loud and obnoxious baka.
Well, does it work?
Oh yeah, I get all the time. Everybody shuts up and just stares at me like I have autism.
Oh, they don't like scratch the back of their head and they don't get that big like cartoony sweat drop coming off from like the back of their head.
They do the thing where they put their hands behind their head and they have their elbows like pointed up where they're walking. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, I don't know that as an anime thing though.
Oh yeah, all the time. It's like the shonen protag will, like when they're walking, he puts both hands behind his head. So that's something I've actually done.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's cool stuff. What hold on. You're saying that's not right? You're saying that's not okay?
No, it's this whole thing is going to be blended in between ridiculous things that I actually do myself and that I'm sure a lot of people do. Some things you don't even realize, and a lot of things maybe you pick up from anime that are also in the West, so you would never even know. Like head pats are something you see all the time, but that's also a Western thing.
Sure.
People do head pats. It's in slightly different contexts, but it's still very similar. Sometimes when I eat, I'll say "Itadakimasu" really loud because it's said at least once in about every anime.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very common phrase, so that's why. To them, it's just like hello. It's not like an anime trope.
Then when I wake up in the morning, I'll shout "Ohayo!" And I hear it all the time in anime, and it's just catchy. I also used to copy Mizuno from Air, and I would just say "Gao" whenever the situation seemed to fit.
Oh, hold on! I finally caught on. Are you just reading some forum posts? Are you doing what I did with the Charles Barkley Shep and Jam guided gas pump?
This is my intro monologue. Yeah, this is.
You're just on Gaia forums? Like, come on, that's not even fair. That's cheating.
No, this was my anime list forums of people that picked up habits throughout anime. So that was somebody's post. I'm not. Will you red list me on what Gao means and when that situation would seem to fit?
I will, but as prepayment, you have to tell me what are the dates on these posts. Like, what's the year?
2013.
Okay, all right.
So it's a little behind, but
as long as it wasn't like 2018, like as long as it wasn't current year +3, that makes me feel a little bit better. Gao is like that's just like what a wolf sound is. That's what wolves say. Gao, gao, or monsters even.
What does the fox say?
I don't know, and thankfully I've never actually heard the full song. And don't ruin it for me. Just like Friday, I have heard like the main hook for Friday, but not the full song. So I try to keep my ears pure.
Despacito, da 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 da, taco taco burrito.
See, I don't know any of that song. The only thing I know about it is whatever you've said about it on this podcast.
Well, that's good. We'll keep your ears safe from that. So where would you make a noise of a wolf? I don't understand. Like, it's like someone saying Yosh. I don't understand.
Oh no. Or remember after Heroes came out, it's like I don't think I've ever actually seen someone do it, but I feel like there was an epidemic of people saying Yata, because like you remember episode 1 when Hero, who isn't the main character of a show called Heroes, but his name is Hero, he learns to teleport. You remember that?
Vaguely.
Oh, I don't know why that scene left an impression on me.
I remember the scene, and it was like a little bit of a meme, but that was before. That was a long time ago. I'm still just confused on like when this person. I'm picturing somebody that's going to middle school with like a full headband on, and just like making a woof woof like.
Probably like whenever you glomp someone, I bet that's when you would say it. Or it could be like a sentence ender. You know how like Japanese people always have like a quirky sentence ender.
Oh yeah, like Disu.
Like generally a common translation. Attack or whatever, like a method, that's the word, like a common translation method for that kind of thing is to do puns. So like Persona 4,
Barry, Teddy,
what's his name, not Bear, was it Teddy? That's what it is. Okay, yeah, I kept thinking Kuma, which is his Japanese name. He ends every sentence with Kuma in Japanese, but in English he just has bear puns, which is a pretty nice way to handle it.
Yeah, and that's actually high effort. And I remember Chie would say meat at the end of every sentence. So.
Yeah, that's what it was. I don't understand how Japanese people think that's cute or endearing. Like, it's so annoying to end every sentence with the same word.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they have such a beautiful and complex language.
That's what it is. Yep.
There's like a trend where it's cute in Japanese to refer to yourself in third person. It's kind of like something like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, that's annoying too.
I don't know if I'm like fedora tipping my superior intelligence and knowledge of Japanese culture, but I don't feel like that's something a lot of people in the West know, because I don't see it in manga or anything a lot. Is that something that pops up frequently, or?
I think it does, and I think a lot of translators don't do it as literally or as frequently. At least that's how I would handle it, because I think it's annoying, and I think it's stupid, and it makes no sense from an English perspective.
I kind of disagree, especially if it's like a Chunibuyu type person to...
Okay, yeah, if it fits like that, then yeah, I can see.
Yeah, because I think that's a big part of somebody's character. If you're talking in third person, that's weird enough. Although it's not as weird to them as it would be to us.
Well, I think you gave two different examples. One was a chunie, and then one was like just a girl who thinks she's cute by doing it. I think the chunie, I would leave it in. I would be a lot more tempted to leave it in. But with like just like a cutesy girl, it's not cutesy, so it doesn't translate properly. So I think the proper choice would be to remove it more often than not.
I could see that. That's a compelling case. But what you could do instead is add like a heart emote to the end of her sentence to just show that she's being extra cute.
You could. I've never used emotes when they don't exist, but I think it's an untapped technique there. You could just say, "Whittle old me." That's what I would do as a professional.
I think it's time to talk about the big thing, and something that has plagued us weeaboos for generations and generations. Something that every person who watches anime has done once in their life. It's the Naruto run.
Naruto run. I knew it. I knew it. Except I would do the Dragon Ball run.
Oh, ooh, what is this? I forget.
It's more like a T-pose.
Oh, it's a running T-pose. That's right.
Basically, yeah. I liked that one a lot more because that was I saw it before I saw the Naruto run, so that was my go-to.
I must confess that there was a moment in my life where I always knew that it was not a good way to run. But yeah, I had thought, I was like, well, they wouldn't draw something so dumb if it wasn't actually a way to run. I was thinking, oh, maybe in Japan they run like this. Maybe it's like a technique of like sports runners or something like that. And then I try it, and then I can't imagine how many people are doing that and then trip and then just bust their face open because your hands are behind you. You can't catch yourself or anything. I just have no idea. Who possibly came up with that as an art style, as a running style?
I mean, it looks cool, so that's probably number one.
But does it?
That's why every kid did it, because it looked cool.
Well, I just copy everything that I saw on TV, regardless of if it looked cool or not.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but I think it does look cool. Even now, I think it looks kind of cool. If you realize that it's stupid and it doesn't make sense, you can enjoy the cool part, I think.
Interesting. Now, I do remember some scenes where they would up the budget for a couple fight scenes, and their arms would be kind of loose. They would be kind of fluid, and like they would like move it around and like shoot out a shuriken or something like that. That I thought was pretty cool.
Like wet noodles?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. But it was more, they had fluid animations, so it was cool when they were running like that. In retrospect, and even at the time, I was always kind of confused on why they ran like that.
You know, it's so that they could access like the kunai that they have hidden in their on their person.
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. Don't justify that with a ponderance. That's
Here's something else that I've done. Sitting like L from Death Note.
Yep. Yeah, I've done that.
I actually unironically do it in a computer chair because, you know, I'll sit at I'm a NEET, so I'll sit at my computer for 12 hours a day. You know, when you need to get some circulation in your legs.
Well, hold on. I to be fair, though, I will defend you because I do that and I'm not a NEET.
Well, it's still something. I mean, do you do it at work? Well, see, that, and I figure if you wouldn't do it in public, it's not something that...
Oh, never. No. The L-sit, no, that's unforgivable. It's okay right after you watch Death Note and you're like in middle school or high school.
Sure, yeah.
But not now.
I actually like it a lot for like leg stretching and circulation. Obviously, I'm not going to sit like that for more than 2 minutes or so, but every once in a while. It's basically a Slav squat in a chair.
Because I feel like when I've done my L-sit, that it's not flat-footed like a Slav squat. Actually, let me give it a shot right now. Let me. All right, yeah, it is flat-footed. You're right. Okay.
Okay, all the passengers at home get into the crash position. It's the L-sit.
I'm going to remain this way for the duration of the podcast.
I doubt it, but we'll see.
I'm in a casual form of it, so it's not like it's not rigid form. I'm being pretty loose about it, so it's okay. It's not uncomfortable, certainly.
Here's something that also came from Naruto. Now, everyone eats ramen noodles, but I definitely got more into it after I saw the beautiful ramen noodles and food in Naruto. When I was watching Naruto, it wasn't common to have a ramen place, and a big bowl of noodles like that and a soup was, I mean, not very... I didn't eat that as a kid, so I was like, wow, this is fancy. And then, you know, I got used to the idea of like putting an egg in it or putting vegetables or things like that.
Oh yeah, like I've done eggs, I've done veggies, I've even done hot dogs.
That's pretty good.
I've done other types of meat too. It's good stuff. There were a few months earlier in this year where all I ate was like ramen noodles every day. Actually, they were Korean ones. You know, I hate to admit that as Japan's #1 podcast, but it was good stuff. It still is good. Noodles are the best, and the broth is god tier.
The instant noodles are the most commonly consumed produced food in the entire world.
I believe it.
There's a great documentary. There's actually a couple of them on YouTube about the history of ramen noodles, how they came up with it, how it caught on, and everything like that. And you know what's crazy? I love the instant ramen noodles that you can get here in the States, like the Murchan ramen noodles.
Sure.
Better than I like. So I've been to a bunch of Japanese restaurants, like authentic ramen restaurants, and I don't like authentic Japanese ramen that much. It's
really?
It's way saltier. First of all, my choices were like miso broth or salt broth, because those are like the Japanese flavors. They don't really have like a chicken and beef and shrimp flavored ramen in Japan. It's like,
but they have tons of meat in it, right? And wouldn't that flavor the broth?
Yes.
I've never had authentic ramen. Just to be clear, it's one of my great failings as a weeaboo.
It was so salty I could not enjoy it, and I've had it at multiple
Wow.
places. Like there's so much in it. It's like a pure salt broth. It's way saltier than even the ramen noodles you'll get that are freeze dried, which is absolutely crazy because those have all your sodium for the entire week.
Yeah, that's kind of a letdown to hear because I've always, thanks to anime, I've always had that in the back of my mind as something where it's like I want to eat authentic ramen. I want to try it because it looks delicious.
Well, I mean, I would still do it. I would still get it. Maybe pour some
Right.
water in it, water it down. And it was great. It was exactly like from Naruto. It had the half egg. It had the onions.
Like the pork cutlets.
Yeah, it had the pork cutlets. It had all the little crunchy things, and it was fantastic.
Did it have Naruto's in there?
There was one, I believe, yes.
All right, cool. I don't even know what those are. Those are noodles, right? Like just like kind of.
No. That's a fish cake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
pretty sure.
See, I'm missing out. I've had pho. I've had tons of pho, but never
I like that way better.
really.
I like it way better than traditional ramen. Yeah. I think the broth tastes better. It's less salty. It depends on what noodles you get at some place. But I'll tell you what's even better is udon noodles are better than ramen because those are the huge, thick noodles. Those are good. Those are more in a saute for the most part. But
I'll transition back. I've got this. Let me crack my fingers. I got this. So on the topic of udon noodles, I think those are the ones where I have actually tried to make noodles inspired by anime.
wow, this is a big commitment.
No, because I was an idiot and I had no idea what I was doing. I thought you just add water and flour. Because
Do you not? No, you add like eggs and baking powder.
I don't know. I think you have to do it. Oh, I don't know. Whatever it was, I completely messed up and it was disgusting.
No, that's too bad.
It was like when I talked about how I tried to make mochi the other day, but it was so much worse than that.
That was a disaster.
Because at least the mochi had sugar, so it was edible. But the noodle thing, oh man, it was a sticky mess, and it didn't cook well. So I didn't even get to the part where you chop it up into noodle shapes. It's like just the dough itself was just an abomination. So that was sad. It's kind of a recurring theme whenever I try to cook, especially when it's inspired by an anime. It just, I can't do it. It messes up.
Now, I heard you crack your knuckles. I can't do that. I'll have to edit that in. When I was doing my research, I saw a bunch of people say that they started cracking their knuckles in a fashion like some dude in some anime. And it was multiple people who said that. I had never heard of the anime, and I had never seen the character. But
it's the same one every time, you mean, that they referenced?
Yeah, and they're like, okay, like started cracking their knuckles that way. I guess it's one finger at a time. I just heard you crack your knuckles, so I thought I'd throw that in. But
right, well, I'm doing mine as like some kind of 90s hacker man, where you put them together, like, interlace
push
your
them
fingers, and then you kind of, yeah, that's how I do it. And half the time this is a joke, and the other half the time it's also a joke.
Here's one that's not a joke. The anime glasses push-up.
Yes, dude, yeah. I don't wear glasses that frequently, but I have done that before. And it makes you feel so cool.
But like, how else are you supposed to push up your glasses? Like, it's also got to be a Western thing. Yeah, I know you can do it in a way where you
No, two fingers. So thumb and index, you grip like the top and the bottom of a lens, and then you just kind of adjust them that way.
I don't know.
Like a Poindexter.
Well, oh, that's
like some kind of nerd.
Yeah, that's like an anime nerd. I've seen that there.
Oh, that's true, yeah. See, anime is really the source of everything.
It is.
Actually, anime invented glasses. They didn't exist before they first appeared in Asteroid Boy, episode 10.
You know what other anime does glasses well is Samurai Champloo. One of the samurais has glasses, and it's like so rare at the time, so a lot of people comment on it. I just thought of that. I thought that was interesting.
Well, equally as uninteresting is I don't remember when, but it was somewhere in like the mid 2000s. I was gonna say like 2010 or something, but in the mid 2000s, when robots have taken over, that's when I first noticed that in anime they don't draw the
nose.
Was it like the arms of the glasses? Well, of course not the nose, but they don't draw. When you're looking at a character from like a side profile, they don't draw the arms of the glasses so you can see their eyes. They must have always done that, but I never noticed it until like, I don't know, 2005 or something.
Yeah, unless it's like a super thick glasses and they got the swirly eyes. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah, I've never understood that. I get that they're like nerds, but I don't see why or how.
I don't know. It's like a very good cartoon style to show emotion is changing your eyes. Like, obviously, everybody loves heart-shaped pupils.
Which, I sent you a message about this yesterday, I think. Why aren't those real?
I don't know, man.
It's such a beautiful idea.
You can make contacts like that.
That's true, but they're not context sensitive. Like, I want them to happen when appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'd all love a heart pupil-shaped GF.
Well, I mean, like, optional hearts. Like, her eyes wouldn't normally be heart pupils. I guess that would be cool in its own way, but...
Well, that's like a monster girl. That's we forgot to talk about that in the last one.
Just, she's a normal girl, but her pupils are hearts, so she's a monster?
Or she's got heterochromia, which is like 2 different colored eyes.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing, too. I got one of my eyes dyed because of anime. Very suggestible. I'm not alone, though, in being suggestible, because I was watching... To be fair, it was after we had decided on this topic, I had stumbled upon just randomly a video of a dude talking about how after Haikyuu came out, which is that shonen volleyball manga, it was like a bar graph, and it was showing like high school volleyball enrollment pre-Haikyuu and then like during and all that, and it was just like straight hockey. What's it called? Like hockey stick chart. It was crazy, and I'm the same way.
That's great.
Like
that's part of like Japan's initiative to get people married. Like they'll show loving family animes.
Yeah. I will though admit that with Haikyuu, I was the opposite. I started playing volleyball and then I started watching Haikyuu to learn how to play. And
same with me and Kaon.
No, you just told the opposite story earlier in the episode.
No, I started playing guitar.
I thought you said you watched 2 seasons.
It motivated me to practice.
Okay, well, whatever. You'll edit it to make... you're going to edit the podcast to fit your narrative no matter what, so... I am right, though. Just know that as a fact.
I have a soundboard, and I'm slowly reconstructing every word you say, so soon I'll be able to do the podcast all by myself.
There was a website about that with Obama where you could like type in any sentence, and it would like splice together anytime he said that word.
Or when Donald Trump rapped Mac Miller's song.
Oh yeah, the one about him.
Yeah, Donald
Probably
Trump.
called Donald Trump, yeah. But I was talking about sports mangas though, sports animes. So like in college, me and the guys, we would play like racquetball and frisbee. Those were like our go-to. And I was so upset because there's no manga for either of those. I really wanted to get into like reading a manga about those sports to see like what kind of stupid like magic moves that they come up with. Unfortunately, I don't think those sports ever... I don't even know if Japan knows about those sports. Like they know about American football somehow because of Ice Shield 21, but they don't know about like racquetball or frisbee.
I think they have racquetball.
Well, not in anime or manga form.
No, but in general, I think it has a decent following in Japan. But even then, like most people here in the States don't really know much about racquetball. Like they might know what a racquetball is, but they don't know the rules. They don't know how to play it.
I didn't know how to spell it for like the first year that I played.
Does it have a Q in it?
Yeah, it's RACQ, I think. But yeah. I'd never seen it written, so I thought it was like racket, like RACK. Because to me, that's how you spell like tennis racket, isn't it? CK?
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever, I guess I'm a dum-dum.
You're a baka.
Yep.
I much prefer Aho instead of baka.
Oh, yeah.
I like Aho Girl, but that's a whole nother episode.
Apparently the crows in Naruto say Aho as their like animal sound.
Pika Pika.
That's some fun trivia. So even crows were inspired by anime. But back to the sports thing, though. We ended up watching Kuroko as well during those college years. We did play basketball as well, but I didn't like it as much. But it's like I had to settle for it. It was really sad. But we were definitely inspired by the anime Kuroko. Like that's why we started playing it. And we would call out stuff related to the show. Not in a cringy way.
Spirit Dunk.
Yeah. We would talk about like going into the zone because that was a big thing in Kuroko. Or I don't know if you've seen it, but like they do a really cool like eye light effect. You need to look it up because it looks really cool. And then spoilers at the end when they go into the zone beyond the zone, everything goes. Yeah, it's so stupid. Everything goes like black.
I'm in the zone, you guys. Now I'm beyond the zone.
The zone beyond the zone, and I'm going off of memory here, but I think everything goes black except for like the outlines of stuff, and it looked really cool. But yeah, go look into that. But we would talk about like shows.
Is that what it's like to go even further beyond?
Pretty much, yeah. We would also we would say that a lot. Even though that was DVC. Oh, I just remembered a really cringy thing. So this was with a slightly different group when we would play Frisbee. And when we weren't doing like ultimate Frisbee, we were just like playing catch basically. We would kind of pass it in circles. We would try to get like a high score of how many successful passes we could do without somebody messing up a throw or a catch. And at one point we were marathoning DBZ, so we were coming up with like different point scores had a different DBZ character affiliated with them or associated with them.
I just got 4 brawlies.
Something like that. So it's like I don't remember the numbers, but this is like a hypothetical. So like 5, if we got 5 in a row, that would be like a Gregory, which was like the no, it'd probably be Bubbles, which is like the monkey, and then Gregory was the cricket, and then it's like we would work our way up,
work all the way up to Shaggy Blanco.
Yeah, we never made it to Shaggy Blanco. Let me tell you, I don't think we ever even made a Goku tier. We probably made a Krillin, but basically, anime ruined my life.
Same.
That's what I'm getting at.
I'm not very suggestible, so I don't ever get product placement. I just can't anymore. I can't drink beverages of the commoners. I can only drink the intellectual drink for the chosen one. El Sai Kangaroo. Dr.
Pepper. I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to ruin your punchline. You can take that out, but... Well, while you enjoy it, I can only assume you eat the food of champions, of conquerors. Pizza Hut.
That was like the biggest product placement like that I can remember.
Oh, it was so funny because we had watched the subs, but we were talking to some mutual friends about it who had watched the dub, and we're like, yeah, more like Code Pizza Hut, right? And they're like, what are you talking about? Because apparently in the dub they took out the Pizza Hut.
Wow, that's crazy. That's Code Geass is Code Pizza Hut,
which for some reason I always called Code Geese, and I didn't realize that was wrong.
More like Code Gay Ass.
I just saw the joke for the first time, like within the past month.
What, really? Dude, I made that like every time there.
I'd never heard it before, so
I guess we didn't really talk about anime back then. It was still a dark secret.
Oh, well, we talked about that one.
That's true.
I mean,
that was a pretty good one. I enjoyed that at the time, but I tried to go back and watch it, and it didn't hold up very well. It's kind of like a Gundam mixed with Death Note.
Yeah, so I started watching it coming fresh off of Death Note, so I wanted more like that, and it almost scratched that itch, but it just wasn't the same.
In lore or in literature, there's a book from Isaac Asimov, which is the Foundation series, and in Foundation there's a character that has a similar power. What was the dude's name? Anyway, in Code
Lelouch.
And Lelouch he could get one person to obey him, but it only worked one time. Whereas the guy in this book, he was called the Mule. He had like a mutant power that he could just change your emotions on a whim, and he could do it to a mass amount of people at a time, and it would stay there. So he ended up conquering the galaxy through that. And that's what I always role play in my head. I'm like, if I had these powers, what would I do? I work out the path that I would take to conquering the world through like, I'd go over here and get this crowd, and then we'd go over there. So that's my little fun role play.
Yeah, sounds like anime has infected your mind, and now you are mentally damaged forever.
It has.
But I will tell you though that Geass, I believe, is a real concept outside of anime and literature or whatever. Because there's a D&D spell of that name, and it does basically the same thing. I just found this out recently, so I think it's a real thing. Gias. I thought they made it up for the anime because until I learned about this D&D spell, that was my only exposure to the term.
Gyasu. In Irish, a geese is an idiosyncratic taboo. Oh, it's similar to being under a vow.
Okay, yeah, because that's basically how it works in the show and in D&D.
Yeah, that's interesting. You learn something new every day. This is the #1 educational podcast.
It is. Oh, I hate to jump all around back and forth, but back to the Japanese calligraphy call out at work that I experienced. Let me tell you how I handled it, because I somehow forgot to say this part. I instead jumped into trivia. I sidestepped the whole thing. I said, which this makes it so much worse. But I said something like, it's weird that we use a Greek word, calligraphy, almost exclusively in reference to East Asian scripts.
Wow. Did he tip his fedora at you? That's
not a fedora thing. That's like a
neckbeard thing. I don't know what that is. Well, it's more like a
no. That's just like a trivia nerd thing. Quiz Bowl. I'm Billy Quiz Bowl.
Quiz boy.
Yeah, and it went about as well, or it went over as well as it did with you just now. I mean, it was met with kind of awkwardness, but the Toho guy who now sits next to me, near me, he chimed in and he said something about it, but I don't remember.
Nice. So,
which I found out also that he has a big,
wiener.
It's like a mouse pad, but I did not find that out one way or the other. Maybe that's some information that you can bring to the table, but I don't know anything about his wiener. But he does have a giant mouse pad type thing for his keyboard, and it's some
that's
anime
brave.
girl, which I would kill myself out of embarrassment. Yeah,
stunning and brave.
And I don't know which one it is yet, but on Monday, if I remember, I'm gonna come into work early before he gets there, and I'm gonna look.
You got to ask him if that's his waifu.
It probably is. I want to find out who it is, and I want to say something like, "Oh, I like X girl from that series better." It's like your waifu taste is trash.
Oh, so you're trying to get a fight right out the gate?
I need a Sasuke to my Naruto. That's what I'm saying.
What you need to do is you need to be like, hey, if you like Sakura-chan, you'll love the Flight Plan podcast.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I would tell anybody that I do this.
I was going through in my extensive research. I was looking through myanime.net and Gaia Online and all the sites to see what type of habits that other people have picked up and what influence. And this guy said no coats. And then in parentheses, he says, I've never seen anyone wear a coat in anime. I have no idea, but it just baffled me. And then everybody just carried on like that was normal. They agreed. What do you mean no coats? Are we talking suit coats? Because I've seen that. Are we talking jackets? I've seen that. I have no idea what this dude was talking about.
Well, I have two big questions about that. The first is, what do you mean people agreed? They said, yeah, I also have never seen coats. And what?
Somebody quoted the post and said, oh, very true, haha.
Okay, well, that's completely unfathomable.
Yeah, I just didn't understand it.
And then the next thing, does he mean that he now does not wear coats?
Yes. That's what I took from it.
All right, see, I don't understand this. It might be a generational thing. He might be insane, mentally ill. I don't know. This is some kind of sociopath. Because people wear coats all the time. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Every winter scene, anytime it's winter in an anime, they have a coat. I don't know. I'm too confused.
I went through a Watch Mojo one too, and it's they're all awful.
Man, you really scraped the bottom of the barrel here.
Well, I had to get the thing. This was top 10 habits you picked up from anime. So number 2 is Nani. When we see or hear something shocking, we often find ourselves saying, Nani?
All right, I do that sometimes. That's a joke, though, and only amongst friends.
Yeah, and that's a meme, and you don't do it, yeah.
Yeah, I do it as a meme, not as a habit. I feel like there is an important distinction there.
The number 4 habit is getting confused on which side to read.
All right, see, that's embarrassing. This is a terrible list. Is this actually Watch Mojo?
No. Number 6 is Baka. Baka is just too fun to say. Whenever we see our friends say or do something stupid, we immediately say, Baka.
See, I don't think I've ever said that word in my life without an intense amount of like inner shame and like cringe.
Yes.
I hate that word with the passion.
Exactly. Number 7 is listening to AMV.
That's not...
That would be AMVS.
Well, yeah, but that's not something that you picked up from anime. That's just the Weeaboo thing.
We like to watch an AMV of our favorite series because it sums it up in one epic video.
Yeah, this is epic. That's a terrible list. You should be ashamed.
It's great. Here's one. Number 10 is L's Sweet Tooth. If you've seen Death Note, then you know about L having a serious sweet tooth, and we picked up on it. Like, so no, you're just eating junk food.
Oh, man.
Yeah, in fact, anything L eats, we immediately want to eat it. I'm not gonna lie, after watching L eat a sweet dish after sweet dish, I started to get a craving for ... You guessed it, sweets.
Wow. I'm speechless. I don't even know how to react to this. This is terrible.
There's number 5, songs. Most people would choose Avril Lavigne, Green Day if they prefer rock or energetic music. How old is this? Like,
it's like 1995.
Oh, dude, I just scrolled up. You're not gonna believe it. 2018.
No, it's not.
Dude, who listens to that? Is Avril Lavigne even still alive?
I don't know. I think she skated away with her skater boy. I think.
See you later, Skater Boy. But it says, but I would listen to an OST from Death Note, One Punch Man OP, Erased OP, Duvet by Boa, which is the Serial Experiments Lane OP, Zoro's theme, or some Hickory Swano songs. I don't know who that is.
Is this a forum post or something like a Kotaku for anime kind of thing, like a trash BuzzFeed to your site?
That type of thing.
Okay. See, when I came up with this idea here of a topic, I thought it would be like how anime affected us, but like you took it to a whole terrible level that I did not anticipate.
Well, it's important that we're all self-aware enough to laugh at ourselves sometimes.
Fair.
I thought that was particularly interesting because I don't think Green Day's put out a song since
ever.
I don't know, like before 2010. I don't know. I haven't caught up on it. Although, to be fair, the things that he does list, like the OST from Death Note is good.
Sure.
The Serial Experiments Lane OP is good. I don't know who Hickory Swano is, but...
I know the dude who does the OST for stuff like Boku no Hero Academy and Haikyuu.
Oh, those are great.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I do have a Japanese music playlist that I listen to whenever I'm in the mood to... learn Japanese. I'll just play that and it'll get my fix in. But there's some good Japanese songs and things like that.
I mean, almost everything I listen to is at least from a Japanese composer. I mean, it's not necessarily like an opening or like a Japanese vocal song, but definitely like video game soundtracks or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's your primary music is video game soundtracks.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I had a couple more genres of anime influence, and I guess we could get into another one of those.
Let's hit it up.
Hit it up. Advertisements. I mean,
beef or beefun?
Beefun. Beef or beefun. No, I meant stuff like how old cartoons like used to be vehicles for selling toys, like Power Rangers or He-Man, but anime equivalent is like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I feel like it should be mentioned because I fell for that stuff. I mean, I had Beyblades, I had Yu-Gi-Ohs, I had Pokemons. That stuff works, and it's too powerful.
That's true. They knew how to do it. I bought all the Gundam action figures.
True. Yeah. Even though I didn't even like the show, nor did I understand it, but they were cool. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot to say about advertising influence. Just felt like it was worth an honorable mention. And now our number 1 pick. For top 10 anime influences.
Top 10 Watch Mojo videos.
I want to talk about the reason that we actually came up with this topic here. Fitness. Getting swole. Getting chatted up.
More like fitting this pee-pee in your mouth.
Nice, dude. Very Christian of you. Like keeping it family friendly here. Like the idea, the reason that we came up with this idea to shoehorn it in as a podcast episode is we were inspired by a pretty popular anime called The Joe Rogan Experience. Where they just did like it's a podcast if you don't actually know. And they just did like a month-long exercise competition thing. And we were like, yeah, we should do that. And then that got my noggin jogging to think about how anime influenced me. Because now, granted, canonically speaking, I am a super fit Chad. But as a character, Tom, I'm not. But a lot of anime is inspirational and makes me want to be that super fit Chad. Like One Punch Man, DBZ, JoJo, even like...
Makes me want to be that faceless old man.
The bald old man. Yep. Well, I hope so, because old man coin stocks are up right now. So invest. The time is now.
We do have to make that actual cryptocurrency.
I feel like there's too much work in making a cryptocurrency.
No, you just go. It's just like a one button click now, isn't it?
Actually, it might be nowadays. Just fork like the GitHub repo or whatever.
How many Doge coins is worth one fat old man coin?
1 million Doge coins. I mean, fat old man coin is worth a lot right now. It's worth its weight in fat old men.
It's basically the petrodollar.
Yeah, actually, Saudi Arabia is now in negotiations to switch off of the dollar onto the fat old man coin.
Because it's the reserve currency of the World Bank now.
Certainly the reserve currency of the big guy bank. But yeah, I mean, I assume that you're the same way in that, like, these cool, like, shonen manga make you want to be fit and buff. I'm talking like DBZ or like One Punch Man, stuff like that.
Not so much One Punch Man, but I get inspired by superhero and like power level things. Like when I saw Bleach, it made me want to get smarter. And it's a super weird thing to say. Yeah. So I see like everybody that has powers, and I don't think I can ever shoot laser beams out of my butthole like they do in manga. But I feel like I would be smart.
Oh, it's belly button. Okay. It's a naval laser.
But no, when I see something like Boku no Hero, I kind of apply it to something that's maybe more realistic in my mind. So yeah, I do get inspired a little bit to work on something, but more like that discipline comes back and reflects on something else that I'm trying to study at the time, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get really good at this part of my job, and I'm gonna hunker down and work on this, or I'm really gonna get in and read this esoteric memetics philosophy book because I want to know about that. I want to get good. That's the thing. I want to get good, but I transfer that motivation away from fitness into something else for the most part.
Much to your detriment.
Although canonically, yes. Well, canonically, I am incredibly attractive.
Right, but I mean, the character of Aiden that you play on the flight plan,
is also incredibly attractive.
Oh, okay. I see how that is.
I'm all around. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you neg me.
Well, I'm just trying to make us more relatable, of course, because not everyone can be a super Adonis like we are.
Well, speaking of One Punch Man, I know it was super. All the BuzzFeeds and things like that came out with a thing like, what actually is Saitama's workout? And if you don't know, you probably already know, but it's 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10 kilometers running every day. 10 kilometers is 6.2 miles in freedom units.
I could not do even one of those.
Yes, you could.
Which one?
Dude, sit-ups are super easy.
Sit-ups or crunches?
Either. Crunches are actually better for your back, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I could do like 100 spaced out throughout the day, but like when you say 100 a day, does he mean 100 reps all in one set? Or like, oh, I'll do 5 now, 5 in 20 minutes, 5 20 minutes from then?
I think it's assumed that it doesn't have to be in one set, but I feel like he would do 25, wait a couple minutes, do 25 push-ups, something like that.
Right. So, yeah, within like the same time frame, basically. Yeah, and see, I don't think I could do 100 of those.
You could do 100 sit-ups like that, I'm pretty sure.
No
and even
way.
the squats he does are body squats, body weight.
I can't do like 100 body weight squats, man. I can't do like 5 without breaking form and dying.
It seems so easy to think like, oh yeah, I'm just...
To watch an anime character do it, yeah, it does seem easy.
The miles running for me would be the hardest because my cardio is really bad.
Yeah, I mean, that one definitely does seem like the hardest one, just in terms of like raw numbers there. Because like I've walked for like, I don't know, an hour today, and I think that was only like 7,000 steps. I think that was a few miles, but I was walking. I think it was like 3 miles. Oh man, I just can't imagine doing
6.2 miles.
Oh, okay, so it's on the lower end, but still, I don't know. Maybe I'm way too out of shape.
Well, yeah, I think we both are at that point.
The thing though about the Saitama workout is that it sounds achievable. Like it's definitely within the realms of human abilities, especially if you were like a quote unquote fit person.
It's not even an effective workout. Like you're wasting your time. Like 100 push-ups a day isn't going to make you buff, isn't going to make you strong. It's just going to give you a little bit of endurance for something that you'll never use.
And like I feel like there's a big difference between the difficulty of 100 push-ups versus 100 squats. I don't know why, but for me squats are tough. So I imagine that like
my buddy is actually he's learning how to do pistol squats, which is squatting on one leg with your other leg extended full out.
Ooh, I can't even extend my leg full out. Like 90 degrees? I don't have that flexibility.
It's the balance that's the hardest part of it.
Yeah.
It took him I think a month of training, but now he can do 3 of them, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's insane. Well, that's like me in pull-ups. Like, you know, if I took a month of training, I could do 3 pull-ups, I bet.
You could probably do them now.
I can kind of do 1.
Chin-ups are easier too, so I'd say try those as well.
I don't know the difference in my mind, to be honest.
Chin-ups is with your palms towards you, facing you.
Oh, those are the ones that I try, yeah.
Yeah, those are easier. That's more biceps than your back and shoulders.
Generally, I try it once a month when I go to pay rent. I have to walk through the like apartment complex gym area. So like kind of on my way back from paying rent, I just like try to give it a quick little pull up.
To head back to the contest that we're doing in between ourselves is we both picked up a Fitbit, and so we're going to figure out some type of measurement and have a little friendly competition to see who can be more fit, who can keep cardio a little bit better and things like that. I don't think we figured out the Fitbit can track so many different things. I don't think we figured out which stats we're going to actually track, and it'd be nice if there was one giant score overall of health and fitness, but of course that would be kind of impossible to do.
I thought there was, though. You know, we'll have to look into what Joe Rogan and pals did, because they had a big number, like a solid summation number.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to go through and do a little bit more research on that before we give any solid rules and things like that. But I like weight training too, so the Fitbit can track it, but not as well as it can like running. And
anyway, though, to make it relevant to the flight plan here, I think what we need to do is have some stakes here. So I think that if I win, you have to clean and typeset a chapter of manga for me, and then if you win, well, whatever. I mean, I'll say congratulations, I guess.
Oh yeah, well that's great. I think what we mentioned is you'd edit an episode.
Well, I mean, it could happen, but I think saying congratulations. I think after realizing how unfit I am and will be, I will lose. So really, there's no point in me being punished.
Well, I'm not exactly that fit either, but I think it's going to be a system that we can keep going. I don't think we've got any other rules set up.
I feel like I'm going to lose, so I just don't want to. I don't want those stakes, but I guess to make it fair, I might tentatively agree to that. Just I want the passengers to know, though, that when they suddenly see an episode or hear an episode that's like 10,000 times higher quality, I don't want them to get like spoiled basically for the next episode when you're back to editing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's my biggest reason that I'm hesitating about it.
I'm not even married to the idea of having to have rewards and contest things. I think if we can just get all the passengers at home rooting for their favorite cast member, and then leave a comment in the chat if you're Team Aiden, and we will jog our way to victory, and we'll all get fit, and you guys can exercise along with us, and it'll be great. You get inspired. You can watch some Boku no Pico and get all fit and ready to roll.
That's baby tier, dude. You need winners, you need losers. That's how life works. That's what motivates champions.
Cool.
Excellent response. To tie it all up in a nice pretty bow, or a pretty Joe, it all comes back to my central thesis that if you look like a JoJo character, then you're the bomb. You can do whatever you want. It's a free ticket to life. And that's what the goal is of every person alive. Look like a JoJo character.
Chads can like all the anime they want and then still get their harems. So we're just going to be super fit, and then people won't make fun of us or no bully.
We will eliminate the bullies. We will aura them into pulverized dust, whatever happens.
We will peacefully sunset them in Minecraft with due process.
Maybe not so peacefully. In RuneScape with the dragon twin lashes or whatever it is. The crystal bow.
The abyssal whip.
Yeah. Abyssal, right? Oh, I think you said like elemental, whatever. I don't know.
This might be a good time as any to jog on over to the manga minute.
Oh shoot, I forgot we had a manga minute. I thought we were wrapping up.
We do. We haven't been doing them. And
didn't we last time? No, we didn't. You're right. It's the last episode or two we skipped out.
Now this is the perfect transition because we're talking about Danbiru nan Kiro Moteru, or...
Let me blow your mind here. That first word is dumbbell.
So it basically translates into how many kilos are the dumbbells you lift. Hibiki is your average high school girl with a voracious appetite. Noticing her clothes tightening in lieu of her slowly expanding waistline, she decides to look into enrolling the nearby Silverman Gym. There she runs into a girl from her grade named Akimi, who is also on the student council and president at her school. Akimi, who has a muscle fetish, tries to get Hibiki to enroll in the gym despite its high ratio of macho men, which Akimi dislikes. Thankfully, a beautiful trainer named Machio appears and unknowingly convinces her to enroll and start her quest to a great body.
Nice.
It's basically the stereotypical class president looking straight-haired, black-haired girl with a slightly chubby gyaru with a fang. So that's always popular.
Does she have a fang? I somehow never noticed.
In some of them. Like all anime fangs, it's like Schrodinger's fang. It like comes in and out. Yeah. You never know.
It's transient.
And both of these girls get into wacky hijinks, and as they go through and try different exercise. What's kind of neat about this is not only is it there's no romance in it, but there is comedy and ecche, school life, and of course we're talking about the sports, and they do actually get into and they talk about the actual exercises, and they'll give diagrams, and they'll actually give you good forms to squat with, like we were just talking about. And it's funny, the Garu girl obviously has never done any weightlifting or anything like that, but she goes through what for me, I could only lift the bar when I started, which is already like 45 pounds. So it's like, she's like, struggling to do that. And she's like, wait a minute, you're going to put weight on this? Like, it's too much. It's interesting to see that somebody's starting from zero and the progress like that.
Yeah, I thought that's what's so cool about this. I really liked the gimmick of showing how they explaining the exercises basically through the diagrams and stuff. And if you're into ecchi, a lot of those scenes are pretty ecchi as well. Like when the girls are doing the modeling, so to speak, they're wearing very scantily clothed outfits and such, and the poses, and all that kind of stuff.
So I'm gonna have to counter signal, just in a sense, like the outfits that they wear and the general aesthetics of the fitness girl. I'm not big into. I don't like the school swimsuit. I never understood that.
Right.
And there's like, I think the third chapter is all about that. And I'm sure there's more in there. Like the tights or anything. And like, I don't quite get it. I'm not like super big into the ecche, even though it is No Fap November. And
well, then that's good news then, since it shouldn't make it harder for you. Pun not intended. Got him.
Got it. One thing I did see, there's a little bit of bro science in it. Like I go to a lot of fitness image boards, and they always show memes of people like, it's bro science to the point. There's a little bit of things that I'd be like, I don't know if this is super accurate information on how to get fit. So I wouldn't use it as like a textbook. I would use it as don't use it as a guide. Like you can do similar exercises, but some of the science and stuff they do in there and like advice is not absolutely correct. And there's even one chapter, it's chapter 7, it's dieting.
That's the exact chapter where I was like, you know what? I don't know any of this stuff, but some of this does feel like bro science, and I wanted to bring that up, but I forgot to write it down. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, well, that was the chapter that really hit me because it was just basically one line. They were talking about dieting, metabolism, structure, and things like that, and I think that's still debated. If you eat multiple meals throughout the day, that's supposed to either make your metabolism higher or lower. Now, when you're dealing with insulin levels after you eat, more insulin might make you absorb more. This is a full thing of science, but from what I've seen on the Joe Rogan anime, this is the opposite. In real life, it's different. Now, maybe this was made before that science came out, but I don't know. One of the really bad things was that the trainer is talking to the girls. He's like, diets are really bad for you. In fact, as long as you exercise regularly every day, you'll never have to go on a diet. And that's very wrong. Yeah,
that one stuck out to me too.
Diet is 80%.
That's like the just be yourself tier of bad advice.
Yeah, and it's even deceptive because even if you are, at the gym on the treadmill an hour every day, that's maybe you'll burn 300 calories, whereas like 2 Oreos is 300 calories.
Yeah.
80% of your weight and body structure is based on your diet. Like so many people I know want to lose weight. They do it through like, oh, I'm going to go for a jog after dinner every day. It's like, you just need to change your diet. That's the number one thing that I would give as advice if you actually want to change your shape. I'm trying to gain a little bit of weight. I'm trying to do that, so I have to eat more.
But yeah, I mean, that chapter aside, though, the rest of it didn't seem too bro science-y to me. Like, I think it was that swimming episode or chapter where they were talking about like dynamic stretching, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool. It does sound like a lot of bro science, but I don't know the difference between bro science and real science. So to me, it seemed legit.
Yeah, that's interesting. I liked that little tidbit. The Gyaru girl is like, okay, well, before we exercise, let's stretch. So she goes and does the typical touch your toes thing, and the other girl is like, the weightlifting fanatic is like, no, that's a bad thing, because if you stretch that hard, you could snap a tendon or something like that when you're not warmed up. It's like half true, because you do want to warm up slowly. You don't want to do big sudden jerky movements when your muscles are cold, because you can do damage that way. So she says dynamic stretches are things like doing windmills with your arms or things like that, like multiple compound,
like kicking your legs.
Yeah, compound movements and things like that. So instead of like trying to do some really painful stretch, you just move around and you get your blood flowing and literally warm yourself up, because that'll give you more flexibility. I thought she was going to say this, and I don't know if this is bro science, but my fitness coach told me this, where stretching before you do heavy lifting actually lowers your ability to lift.
Yeah, I think she actually said something similar, how it does decrease performance, but I might be misremembering, because I had a similar thought when I was reading the chapter.
Yeah, so it's like, don't stretch your arms before you do a bench press. Like, you want the explosive pressure, and stretching is something that you should do after your workout.
That part I haven't heard before.
Yeah, so you should do a warm-up, like the dynamic movements, like twirling your arms and things like that, so you don't hurt yourself, but not stretching. and then you do your weightlifting and your exercise, and then you stretch afterwards to, release all the lactic acid and things like that, and make sure you keep your flexibility, because weightlifting and things like that does constrict your muscles, and you will limit your movements and things like that. So if you do want to lift, you can start lifting alongside with us, and then maybe you want to do some yoga after that, do some tai chi.
Yeah, that's not very Japanese of you.
You do some karate.
Nice, there it is.
I like money.
All right, I hate to be off topic, but just as an announcement, I have to sit normally now. It's starting to get painful. Elf sitting. I was, but now I'm comfortable. Oh yeah, I got to stretch my legs, baby.
Speaking of being comfortable, if you want to be comfy, or if you want to be inspired like we are throughout this episode, I would definitely recommend checking out the manga, just to get some maybe ideas and inspiration to go work out for yourself and follow along with us in our fitness journey as we try and become the alpha beta chads that we are in our hearts.
Something like that, yeah.
Tom, how would you recommend this manga, or what would you rate this manga? How many lifts would you do for this manga?
How many kilos out of 10? I don't know. It's okay. I mean, it seems more like a fun novelty, because I don't know how accurate all of the science is. If I knew for a fact that it was all like completely correct, then I would give it a pretty high rating, because when I was reading it, it felt like Learn X through manga, like that book series. I haven't read them, but this is what I imagine it would feel like.
That would be good, yeah. Yeah.
Like, learn geography through manga, and you have like stupid manga characters and a dumb plot just to kind of facilitate the knowledge. And that's kind of what it feels like. And if I knew the knowledge is good, then I would definitely say that this is definitely worth a read.
If you like muscle dudes and fit girls and thick girls, and then
and muscle elves, even
muscle elves, and then there's even thin girls, because the only slightly thick Gyaru always imagines herself as the thin girl. So a drawing is a drawing. You'll get all the things. So it basically spans the gamut of half naked both genders. So there's something in there for everybody. If you like ecche and comedy, yeah, this is a great one. If you want to learn fitness things, maybe, but it can also just give you inspiration to do it. So I would definitely say, if you're bored, pick it up, read it. It's kind of fun. This is brought to you by our buddies at Rockin' Translations, which is RAKUEN. So Rockin' Translations.
RAKUIN. That's weird. Rock Queen.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh.
You see, there's no I in there.
Oh, well, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I can't spell. I don't know about you, but I'm really bad when people spell something out. Like, it doesn't make it into my brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so they've got a Facebook, a Twitter, and a WordPress. If you want to check them out, you say the BG for you buddies brought you.
Yep, definitely. But I don't think that. Oh shoot! I was going to transition into the end, but we need to say, where can you find us? Well, you can't read manga on MangaDex because I'm not uploading, because I'm being slow this month. Definitely December, I'll be back to the Sunday releases, but right now it's kind of get whatever scraps you can get when you get them. But you could read them on MangaDex, and anything I've put out you can read there. I think Gab is back. I forgot to check. Let me check real quick, actually. Looks like it's back, so I'll be using that. I have the Twitter as a backup. Gab is gab.com/bigguy4u, numeral 4 letter U. The Twitter is bigguy4u scans, same spelling.
So our YouTube is, you can find us with the username bigguy4u, the letter 4 and the number U, or you can just search the Flight Plan Podcast. I'd also like to sometime put the videos up on BitChute, and if you don't know what BitChute is, it's kind of like an alternative tech site that's supposed to be a competitor to YouTube, because YouTube's run by a monopolistic dictator. So someday that they will.
Don't be evil.
Yeah, someday they will shut us down, so hopefully we can build a presence there as well. I actually really like the site. This is, they're not paying us to say that, but it's built on a peer-to-peer network, so they don't host anything. It's like you seed to other people while it does it. If they had an app, I'd say it's even better than YouTube. There's a lot of good content there that you can't find on YouTube. A lot of the systems are better. Like, you can do all the different speeds of a video like you can on YouTube, but there's even more on BitChute. Anyway, I'll send you a link to that in the bottom if I end up doing it before this airs, which probably not, but we'll see.
Well, you can't find us there, but if you could, then you would.
Now, if we could or would, how many would we survive in a...
You got it. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could crash this podcast with no survivors?
With no survivors.